Good morning. It's a wonderful Tuesday on July 9th. That's what it is. Happy July 9th. I didn't get shit done with the book last night. I got one little section. Pretty much just slept on the couch. I'm still doing a lot of research and shit. So that's always good. I did do one little section on my book though, because I do have one rule that regardless to how small it is, I will always contribute something to my future, to my projects. So I just sucked it up even though I was tired, and I just went upstairs, knocked out something. It took me like 20 minutes, but that's a couple pages less I have to do tonight, assuming that I am disciplined enough to do it, which I'm sure I will, because there's no reason to hesitate towards the end. This is the time to go the strongest. I've been watching a lot more David Eagleman lately, and I forgot about some of the stories. There was a there was a book that I was reading back in the day called The Smart Brain or something like that, talking about some of these situations that he brought back up, like with Phineas Gage, who was a railroad worker. He ended up getting, because of an accident or something, a giant rod through his prefrontal cortex and kind of fucked him up pretty bad. And he was talking about how it was a famous study because not only did the guy not die, he didn't even lose consciousness, but he in fact changed his personality incredibly. And that was some of the revolutionary work to prove that certain areas of the brain are responsible for our personality. There's a lot of debate on where our personality may reside, but from a neurological standpoint, a lot of these different studies would prove that it is within that brain mass. And because we have such a complex structure going on up there, we've got, I'm not gonna get into all that crap, we get into like the soul and like consciousness and stuff like that, but there's plenty to suggest that it's all up there. And if it's not all up there, then at least a lot of the framework behind it is. So, do I believe there's an element outside of the body that just resides in the body? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I've had experiences before where I felt like maybe it was out of body, but that could have just been a projection of my body. It's like, who the fuck knows? I haven't had death experiences before, and going back to like Joe Marcello that I was talking about yesterday, he has died for a while, so he can recall certain things that happened to him and talks about death experiences, but that stuff could be projected by the brain. Although an elaborate illusion that completely convinces you that what it is real, doesn't mean that it wasn't still produced in the brain. Now, the things that really get my attention, though, is when people start talking about facts from, like, remote locations that people can't prove. It's just like you're unconscious and you're able to see what's going on upstairs or something, because, like, you're talking about having out-of-body experiences and recalling places that could have not been within your awareness. Now, that's a whole different thing. Now, once again, it could just be projections of your brain in forms of, like, telepathy or otherwise. I mean, it's still, like, more interesting than just being in a coma and hallucinating, of course, but that doesn't mean that your brain isn't still the conscious creator of that reality in a way, or even the observer, despite the fact that it's, disconnected from your body. But one of the cool things that he reminds me of is that, when you're feeling a certain way, when you have compromised brain tissue, you will act differently. And if you don't feel like yourself in a very dynamic way, or you pick up some very bizarre traits, like some of the examples he said, some person became like had pedophilia behaviors, and another person, became like a high compulsive gambler. this was merely because there was like something inside of the brain that was literally like a tumor or something pressing against the prefrontal cortex, or maybe other parts of the brain in certain cases like the amygdala, causing these unnatural behaviors. And his analogy was that you can lose a part of your pinky and you're going to be fine, but if you lose that same size of brain matter, your personality will completely be different. And he's doing some revolutionary experiments on just revolutionary inventions that are going to be helping people with sensory inabilities. Like he was demonstrating a vest that he had that allowed sensory information to be passed into it so it could vibrate to certain tones, and making it so the deaf can have a better experience where they can actually essentially hear, so much as like how a person who's blind can read with Braille. You know, it won't be the same experience, but it is a way to interpret information from the world. And what's more interesting is he was talking about how you can, you know, as a well-bodied person, we'll call them, with all of your senses intact, you can still use these and gain even further indication of what's going on around you, which I thought was kind of cool. I can't talk for too long today, and sorry I'm not looking at the thing or my camera because I didn't have much time and I had to rush on my phone. But I gotta go, and hopefully you have a wonderful day.